While we are watching and waiting for more details to emerge surrounding President Trump's accusations of wiretapping against the Obama administration, one D.C. insider says it definitely happened. Kathy Aru is that insider. She's a liberal journalist who served as a senior advisor in the Bush administration, and she joins me now. So, Kathy, what do you know?
All right. Well, my sources this morning, my source from the White House told me she thinks it's all true. She said there were concerns that Trump, and this is from the White House and the administration, so inside the White House, there were concerns that Trump and his surrogates may have been colluding with the Russians as a possible bargaining chip to influence the election. Therefore, the wiretap was conducted.
Okay, so the idea is, in fact, that they went ahead and believed that this information was correct, went to the FISA court, then based on probable cause put the evidence forward to say we have this information and belief and therefore we want this granted. It just seems highly suspicious because that seems to be being used for improper means. In fact, to say, well, we want to spy on them to see what they're doing during this election process where there's this tight race between, at the time, candidate Trump and Hillary Clinton.
Right, and my source believes it. After 7.5 years with the Obama administration, had heard that there were concerns, and she said that she is not sure who secured the warrant. That's her one question. Who secured the warrant? But the White House and the administration, they were concerned, and they did discuss the wiretapping.
Very interesting. We have a Geraldo Rivera who's still here with us on set. Based on what she's saying from those inside sources, does that change some of the opinion that you have on this?
It doesn't. Let me just say, for a probable cause in a FISA context is very, very difficult to attain. You really have to have the goods. In this context, in the context of a presidential election, a closely contested election, where these two camps were out to kill each other, imagine the level of probable cause you would need for a judge to issue a warrant. I just think that if this story is true, then there's something very explosive going on. That's why I want President Trump, to tell us that he misspoke or put it in context. I mean, to talk about Nixon and Watergate and so forth, he really owes us a clarification.
My source, direct quote, said the intelligence community did its due diligence given the threat of the Russian influence. So it's merely due diligence by conducting the wiretapping. They had to do it. Something was heard. They did their due diligence. So she is confirming that the White House and the administration was aware of it.
Very interesting. So what's going to happen next, Geraldo, after this? We get this information. It sounds like, at least, perhaps we don't know because this is just breaking news tonight and the story is developing, but it sounds like perhaps that this did occur and then we just have to check into what was the reason behind it.
But if they did due diligence and came up with nothing, you know, due diligence doesn't mean they found something. Due diligence means it was incumbent on them to do the investigation. Could they have done the investigation and found zero? That's what the president said in one of these tweets, that they looked into us, they did these dirty tricks and found nothing. If that's the case, then that's what the president can tell us tomorrow. They did it. They came all over me. They were crawling all over me. They had all these people and they found nothing. Let us know.
Well, right, because also then you think about the stories that have been developing and happening in the news, the allegations against General Mike Flynn, now the allegations against Jeff Sessions, all of these things. It seems that following the same narrative of pushing the Russian story and trying to tie in President Trump and at the time his campaign and election with them. Because you even saw that in the WikiLeaks emails with Podesta. There was allegations and some of the statements about the Russians and tying the Russians in. So that's what I think is very interesting.
We don't know who secured the warrant. That's what's interesting. My source doesn't know. We don't know who secured the warrant.
You mean who, which person?
Yeah. Did the president know?
I can't imagine the president wouldn't know.
That's what my source believes.
The president couldn't or wouldn't order it, but he had to know.
Yeah, the president can't specifically order it himself. It would have to be intelligence agency or the FBI putting it forward. But what was the nexus of this? What, in fact, generated this request, this interest? What was it based on? There has to be a legal reason, and it can't be that one side was trying to weigh and tip the election based on their ideology or political orientation.
Just the only thing is that General Flynn and Jeff Sessions are not accused of espionage or anything like it. They're accused of not telling the truth under oath. That's way different than this national security that they knew or they were dealing with the Russians. We got to be clear about that.
Absolutely. All right, Kathy and Geraldo, thank you so much. And President Obama's supporters, they are defending him tonight, saying a president cannot order a wiretap. But rules didn't stop the Obama White House before. Remember when the IRS targeted conservatives? Well, Rick Grinnell has some perspective on that next. Stay with us.